Marcellus?
Yeah.
Think LeVeon Bell has hurt the value of NFL running backs?
Not at all. I can see the theme that you went with and connecting the dots between the highly paid running backs and obviously them not properly living up to that value. But those are all unique situations, and let's stay with this unique situation where LeVeon Bell went to a situation, an organization, and a head coach who didn't even want him in full value. So what do you expect of that outcome if your head coach has already been quoted, or at least of record, saying, I have to talk about LeVeon Bell in terms of value, and I have no issue with the player, but there was conversation about the value. So now you get a guy who gets fewer touches, which means fewer opportunities, but we want to see him be the same. No, he's going to be less. With a quarterback that's going through his own regression or sophomore slump, in a situation that hasn't won of late, you're talking about a guy who's supposed to come out there and save it all. Give him the keys. They didn't give him the keys, so LeVeon Bell is now living under the value of that contract. But in terms of all running backs, they're all unique situations. You can talk about Todd Gurley, who's nursing the knee from college still. You think about Ezekiel Elliott, who had his initial success and then his roller coaster right now and a little struggles. But you also look at the issues in the offensive line and defensively as well for that team. So all that said is this unique situation, I kind of expected this outcome because Coach didn't want him.
Has he hurt the value of running backs? No. And the bowling incident, the optics are bad. Like, if you can't play, you just can't be out in public.
Really?
And out in public with bright orange pants, it's the perception. It's the perception of how people are going to view that, like you just really don't care. That's how fans are. Now, did he do anything wrong? No, he did not. But from an optics perspective, you just can't go out and do that if you're not going to play in that game. I look at LeVeon Bell like this. When he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was at worst the second best back in the league. He was a three-down back. You didn't take him off the field unless he was tired. He ran the ball. He caught the ball. He blocked. But he's in a stable organization with a good quarterback, with a great offensive line. You go to the Jets. They're unstable. Sam Darnold gets mono. He misses 5 games. The offensive line is probably the worst. Production is going to drop because that position relies on other people, and those other people that he's relying on weren't as good as the people that he left in Pittsburgh.
Second best back at worst is a damning way of looking at it because he was at least second best back in this league at worst. He certainly hurts the position of running back, and it's because of how gifted and how talented he is as a player. You cannot be the guy that is really tasked with, there's only maybe a small handful of guys with the skill set that LeVeon Bell brings to the table, and you cannot carry that torch lightly and loosely in a constantly evolving game that's more considered to be a passing man's game than a running man's game. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. The position itself is evolving into a Christian McCaffrey type of position. You have to be able to line up and do different things. If you are a run-first running back in this league, you have been devalued. You better figure out a different way of going about your business. Can you block in a wedge? Can you cover kicks? Can you go down on punts? Can you return punts? You're going to have to do more to have that value. And I think when you look at situations like this with LeVeon Bell, it's leading you to wonder what his commitment level is. He's losing. His commitment level, it has to go into question based upon him being out sick. That's just not. It's just not. It's not a great decision to make. Oh, for certain.
Let's talk.
For certain.
There's a disrespect for the game of football that people have processed as something that is healthy because they make statements like, if you can't play football, then you shouldn't be able to do anything else during that time.
But I'm saying,
but be real about this.
But I'm saying,
do you know the gap between how much life I can live and I still can't play the game of football? We've all been in that situation before. You're on IR or you're out for that week. Do you know how much I can do? That doesn't even cross the line and compromise what football entails and what it's asking and demanding of me?
It's a valid point, Marcellus, but when they're paying you $52 million.
They can pay me $5.
They pay you $52,
Same guy here.
and you call in sick on any
He didn't
job.
call in sick. They told him he couldn't come. They said, you're contagious. Sit yourself at home. And then they said, but we can't make you stay at home. And then he's lost 9
If
pounds.
he felt like he could play and they told him, no.
Right.
Okay.
And he lost 9 pounds and they said, you know what? Because of dehydration and fatigue, we don't want you to play. And then guess what? He said, I'm feeling better.
It doesn't have to be related to playing football. I can recall one time I had a school picnic. We go to Kennywood. If you're from Pittsburgh, you know about Kennywood.
Kennywood.
All right. I got sick. Didn't ask to go home. I was sent home. I was not able to go to Kennywood Park on Saturday, and I was sent home sick on a Friday. Why? Because I was too sick. You got to stay here, and you got to nurse being sick. The reason why I believe
he had gotten over that sickness, though.
Well, I don't see. But here's the thing: if it's related to the optics of that principal seeing me or the teacher seeing me, that can certainly hold, whether right or wrong, it can hold a valid type of reason to hold a grudge. What is my commitment level?
Those not if you were an adult, you would have taken yourself to Kennywood.
And if it was your job.
You would have, I'm going to Kennywood. I don't want to miss this. I'm gone.
That's not the same.
It is the same in a lot of ways.
Here's what I would just say. I'm just sorry. At the prices they're paying, and again, these prices, you can apply them to any job in America. If you're out sick, don't be out late kicking it with anybody. That's part of the responsibility and the perception of the job.
Oh, look, I understand that.
I agree with that.
I understand that, and I agree with that too. But you can say that's the straw that broke the camel's back, but remember, it's still a straw. It's not much. Like, him being out was not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is they want to make it bigger because they have other plans for him.
True.
One, they want to devalue him.
They're trying
Two,
to
they're trying
scapegoat
to
him.
scapegoat him. And three, they're trying to trade him in the offseason.
Yes.
So, look, now we're going to make something bigger out of this.
But why give them that narrative?
Agreed.
Why give them that narrative?
And he gave it to him.
And
then the other thing is, the thing that I'm arguing here is that the running back position has a 6-year, 7-year shelf life. And so what I'm saying is, what the NFL and LeVeon Bell and everybody's figured out is like, the running back position is you get one big contract, your second one. Everybody else in the league is thinking about, how can I get that third payday? All the other positions are, how can I get that third payday? When your big payday comes at 2 and you run over, damn, there really isn't a 3, that's when you tap out.
That's not it. I look at it completely different. Understood what you're saying. I look at it like this. If anything, his situation shows that this struggle of LeVeon Bell, who was the best back, if not second best back before he saw Adam Gase, it highlights how a team can mishandle even a great player.
And he brought that up.
And guess what? What that means? People forget, like I said before, you can't play football, you can't do anything. Stop lying. Here's another thing you forget. All of us are black belts. Just different degrees. For someone to get mishandled, you act like he fell off a cliff. He is already combating against another black belt. You put him in a situation that doesn't optimize his talents, doesn't put him in the right position, he's going to fail in those situations.
I think, though, as it relates to LeVeon Bell, the mishandling that people are going to point to started in Pittsburgh when he set out the year and forced his way out of Pittsburgh.
You're right there.
That's
another
the
narrative.
First mishandling.
Yeah.
And then here's what, and we're going to have to go a little extra time here, guys.
Let's go.
Because I want to hear from you all on this because I think it's important and relevant. This guy makes so much money, has so many people counting on him at such a young age. This is where I feel sorry for him. It's just like, where was his family? Where was his friends? Like, hey, man, we're going to go out bowling. You stay at home, LeVeon. Anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it for a young person to handle the kind of wealth and fame and attention that's tossed on these guys?
Not difficult at all.
Really?
If you use the proper antidotes. Look, we all know the adage, youth is wasted on the young. And that's in all facets of life.
So's wealth.
No. Actually, the average American millionaire is 57 years old.
Yeah.
So when you're a millionaire at 21, don't you dare cry help. Don't you dare say, woe is me. You are ahead of the game. So here's the antidotes. There's 2 that I figured out after I went through my young years of having some money. One is learn to say no without guilt. Most people forget the last 2 words. Everybody can say no. it's without guilt. Because if I say no to you, but I'm thinking about it, I'm preoccupied with it, you're starting to lean on me. You're starting to wear on me. Sooner or later, I actually give in to your demands. And the second thing is, when you get your money, you know the family dynamic is going to turn upside down. You have your mom, you have your dad, hopefully, but you can't flex on them. Even though you have to let them be empowered. Let them still be who they are as authority figures, even though they're going to have to circle back around and ask you for money. Because you just got a check that is higher than their aggregate career earnings. The whole family added all up in one pot. I got more than that in one day. So you have to remember that in scope. Let them still live with their same titles and their same authority, but also know that they're going to need you.
That's Columbia right there.
Scale to 1 to 10?
Scale to 1 to 10.
10.
Amen.
It's hard to... Listen,
Amen.
Really?
Heck yeah.
Just growing up how I grew up.
Because you smart, man.
Grew up in the slums.
Enlightened.
Grew up in the slums. And the majority of players that play sports it's hard to handle money. And this is what happened. I valued a dollar because I never had a dollar. I remember seeing a quarter in the gravel in the street and traffic was going by. I remember going to get that quarter every time a car went by trying to dig it out the street. I never forget that. Got a key and was trying to dig it out. But this is what happens. These young guys get money. They buy jewelry. They buy cars. And this is what really gets them. They fly all these women in every weekend and take them shopping. So that money starts to go because you think it's going to come and come and come. If you don't understand the value of a dollar, you keep spending because, I get paid every Monday. I got that check that you just talked about every Monday. I'm going to go buy some jewelry. I'm going to go buy my partner some jewelry too. They might not get what I get, but I'm going to get them something. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to buy my mama a car. I'm going to buy my brother a car. That money starts to add up, and then before you know it, where my signing bonus go? I don't have any money. I know guys that made millions.
Yeah.
And twice as much as me. And they're broke now. They're broke now. They're broke now. And it's because they spend so much money they can't say no without guilt. They say yes, and they still have guilt because they probably felt they didn't give enough. And so that happens all the time.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.